Hello, hello. This is Mia, and today I'm doing something a little bit different than I do usually. Because, as you can tell by how empty my YouTube channel is, I don't really make videos. Um, but when I posted this drawing last night, I got a few questions about how I managed to get this like watercolory texture to it, like watercolor paper texture, and I thought it would be easier to make a video on it because it's honestly just like a culmination of uh, image materials and paper, watercolor brushes, but I'll just like make a video and show you all the materials and layers as we go through them. I'm not gonna be going in depth on why I do certain things because there's simply not enough time for it, and I want this to be a shorter version type of video. Also keep in mind this is not a tutorial, it's kind of more of a walk through my process sort of thing. And third of all, don't panic. I'm gonna be putting all the brushes in the corner so you can find them later on. No need to worry. I'll also link everything in the description so you don't have to worry about that. You can find them easy. But anyway, as I said, I want to keep this short, so let's get started. Also, FYI, I don't have a script right now, so I'm just kind of freestyling this. Let's hope it's comprehensible and clear enough for you guys. But yeah, let's see how you go from like a sketch like this to kind of like this watercolor version of it. So, as you can see, I have a lot of layers. Please don't be like me. Name your layers or at least mark them. I have this one marked because this is like the line art version or like the sketch layer. But other than that, as you can see, it's messy. Just don't be like me. So first of all, maybe this is interesting for anyone. The brush that I used for this is called the P gel brush. It was part of a brush bag that I got a while ago. That's kind of like school supply stationery type of brushes. But as I was checking right now, as I was like getting ready to make this video, I saw that the brush bag was probably deleted by the author because I cannot find it anywhere. But they also have this brush available, which has a very similar texture and feel. So you can just like get this one. I'm putting it up on the screen right now. This brush by the same creator of the other bag, it has the exact same feel, has the exact same texture. So you can just like use that one if you're interested about the brush that I used for the sketch over here. I like this one because I wanted to go for this kind of like someone is doodling in their sketchbook type of thing first, and the only thing they had on hand is this ballpoint pen. So that was what I was going for here. So this is it for the sketch. Next up is the blush and the, let's see, the hair. Oh yeah, the hairs and the pops of color. So for this one, I used a brush called, let me see, I can do this here. Yeah, so I use this brush called Watercolor 5. You can see it over here. It's part of a big brush bag. Let me put that one up on screen for you to see. Let's take a moment. I'm doing this manually because I really don't want to deal with editing this post-production because I'm in a bit of a tight schedule. So on the top left now you can see the brush bag that I'm talking about. It's kind of like a lot of texture brushes, watercolory, thick paint type of brushes. And the one that I'm talking about, number 5, Watercolor 5, it has this very interesting feel to it. I mean, all of them do have this like water paper texture, but this one specifically, like when you, like right now, I still have my pen on the screen. When you take your pen off the screen, it just like bleeds out on the edges. I don't know that you saw that, so I'm just gonna zoom in. So right now, my pen is on the screen. I take it off and it bleeds out on the edges. Do you see that? It's very cool, and that was kind of like the look that I wanted to go for in my drawing. And as you can see, I also didn't really care that the color was like bleeding out at the edges over here. Let me actually, oh, wrong brush. Like over here I didn't mind over here. I just like really wanted to go for this kind of like very messy look. because it's what I personally really like about watercolor, and it kind of like makes me feel it's very satisfying for me, because usually in my drawing I like go very carefully over the edges. I make sure nothing is like poking out. So for this one, or like for this type of sketch, I like to forget about that, and the texture of that brush allows me to do that, because as you can see, also the brush tip is large, so it makes it harder to think about the small corners. Next up is, let's see, oh yeah, I added some like details on the hair, just like random lines on the hair and then the her flowers. And for this one I used the Artemus brush. Let me show you, because it's literally my favorite brush. You should just genuinely download it and thank me later, because I'm gonna put it up on screen over here so you can also find it easier. So it's on top left corner right now. It's this very cool texture brush, and the very cool thing about it, or personally what I like the most, is first of all it has a wide range. So if your tablet supports pen pressure and tilt angles, then you're going to be able to achieve a huge variety of line texture and size just without even changing the brush size. The other thing that I really love about it is, on the top side you have this very like clean cut to it, but on the lower side you have a stronger texture, and I just like absolutely adore that. It's the brush that I use for sketching, line art, adding details while coloring or while finalizing a drawing. Just basically it's my go-to brush. It's a brush pack of 3 brushes. You have Artemis Big Boy, you have Artemis HB, and you have Artemis Hard. All of them are very nice, so just seriously, just go get the brush bag. Let's see, other than that, we have, oh yeah, the blue on the back of his thing. So basically, because I was going for a watercolory look, I just went with simple colors as well, because I don't want to focus too much on the details. You can also see I allowed the brush strokes to overlap to give it this kind of like bleeding over each other look, like over here. Oh, like over here, here, here. You can see that I don't really care that it was overlapping. And then for the shadows, I kind of used a bluish robin egg light color, just because color theory, can't explain it right now, but hey. The next step, what really gives it this like watercolor paper feel, I think, is this paper. It's a paper texture that you can also, I keep repeating myself, but you can also get it on the Clip Studio Paint brush library texture, like asset library. I'm gonna put it up on screen. Remove the Artemis and put the paper. It's this one. It's tea stained paper kind of thing. And yeah, I just like really thought it had a neat look. In the drawing, I'm like using the upper half of this because it had this very interesting sort of stains on it. So as you can see, this is what I went for over here. And what I did is basically I set the layer to multiply so you can see the colors behind it. Again, I can't really explain the layer modes right now because the video is gonna be too long then. But if you're interested, just let me know and I'll make a separate video on all the layer modes, etc. I then played with the opacity until I got to the one that I liked, which happened to be 19. I have no idea why it was this specific number, it just like looked right for me. But then because I noticed that I was losing out on the detail of those like textures that I was just talking about, what I did was I duplicated the layer, set it normal for now just so I can show you, put the opacity to 100, and what I did was open the edit layer. Oh, it's harder to see now because of the paper in the corner. There we go. So I went to the edit menu, went to tonal correction, gradient map, and as soon as you click it, it's gonna like apply this black and white gradient to the image that you have beneath it. And I just like let it do that. So now when I set my layer to multiply, as you can see, it doesn't really make the layer any more yellow, which was why I didn't want to higher the opacity of this one. But it allows me to keep these like interesting stainy textures. So that's why I made it a black and white version basically, because then I can get rid of the color of the paper itself affecting my own colors beneath it. Next up is, oh yeah, I had forgotten to edit his like golden piece over here. This is the line art. This is her blush, quote fever. I've no idea what this layer is. Oh yeah, and then I went with the G pen nib, like the G pen pen that I was talking about earlier. I went over the like edges in the hair, the highlights kind of, just because in real life you also have these like white gel pens that you can use to add highlights to the eyes, the hair, and even sometimes erase the mistakes that you didn't want. And I just thought it would be very fitting to try to apply that in digital format. Basically, if you have some insight on how to, or like if you just ever used watercolors and white gel pens in real life, then you can try to apply that knowledge in like digital format, because the knowledge is still there. It's just like you play around with it differently. So that basically does it for the separate layers of the color, but as you can see, it's like still not quite the image that we have over there. So what I did next was, this is my folder. I'm just gonna mark it orange for now, just so you can see it. I'm gonna duplicate it. There we go. And then I'm gonna merge it. And the reason I'm doing this is because if you have a folder, a whole folder of various separate layers, then you're not going to be able to apply any of these like tonal corrections onto them. But if you have a layer, then you're going to be able to do that. And that's what I wanted to do. What I did was open the edit, tonal correction, gradient map, and let this like gradient black and white roll over it. And then I just like went to brightness and contrast over here and changed that to like lower the brightness, higher the contrast. I think it was something like this, -40 and 30 contrast. And duplicated that gradient map. And here I'm using this gradient called Esquisse. I forgot to take a screenshot of this one earlier, so I'm just gonna have to show you it from the asset library itself. So here it is. Esquisse original ID is 1801196. This is one of my favorite gradients ever. It just like has this very cool contrast between the much colder color and then the warmer colors. And I just think it fits very nicely a lot of the times when I'm trying to get kind of like a vintagey texture. But also the nice thing about gradients is that oftentimes they offer you more unison in your color palette. So what I like to do is I like to put a gradient like this and then set it to multiply. And oh, in this case we have this one underneath. No, I want so this is my normal layer underneath it, right? I'm just gonna duplicate it. So this is without the gradient layer multiplied, and this is without, and this is with. And I really love the, I don't know, I just really like the look of it. I can't really explain why. It's just like one of these things where I was fucking around and then I got this. So yeah, so now I just multiply those. And the one final step is I duplicate the layer again and go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and just like put it around 50 approximately. There's no reason. I just like typically to use my Gaussian blur, sometimes 30, but mostly between 40 to 60. So there we go. And now I set it to soft light and set the opacity at around like 30. And it kind of gives like this blurred feeling and makes the colors a little bit stronger. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but for me it like really finishes it. What you want to do is if you want to get more watercolor or like blurry feel to it, that's something I also like to do sometimes, is just like you already Gaussian blurred this piece. By the way, I don't know how to say Gaussian blur, so that's why I'm improvising here. You already did that, so the only thing you have to do is like lower the opacity, and you also get this like very beautiful blurry feel to it. I also really love this. But just you can also do both, honestly. soft light a little bit later at 30. So yeah, but as you see, for this drawing I didn't do the soft Gaussian blur, I just did it for the soft light version. And in my final piece, obviously I also had the text speech bubble, and I also added a line here that I realized I was missing earlier, as you can see. But yeah, that's basically the step-by-step process of this one. I don't know how to close this off. I hope this was helpful. I've also like I said, I showed every material in the beginning, but I'm also gonna link everything in the description. So if you want to find it easier rather than scrolling back through the video, if you haven't like opened them right away, I'm gonna have everything put in the description to find it more conveniently anyway. So I hope this was helpful, and like I said, this was more for like step by step of what I did, and just like briefly explain why, but without any in-depth details. However, if you are interested in anything more in-depth, anything more detailed about why, or just honestly any topic that you'd like to see a more in-depth video from me about it, just leave a comment, let me know, and hopefully I'm gonna make a video that's a little bit more properly entertaining and less low budget than this one. But hey, look, I did it in one go. Hey, let's go. I'm just gonna like post this right away because I have to pack my bags. Leaving on a trip tomorrow, so yeah, tight time schedule and bad time management. I'm a procrastinator as well, so that's generally a horrible combination. Again, hope this was helpful, and maybe see you in the next video. I don't know, man, I should probably revive my channel because I haven't been posting anything here at all. It's full of dust and cobwebs, my god. Yeah, like I said, I'm bad at videos, so I'm just gonna end this here because I have no idea how to close this off properly. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye.